late 1980s. We lived in the same neighborhood at the beach in Marina del Rey. Personal computers, PCs, had just come out. I was starting a computer consulting practice, and Jim had a financial planning business. He had just purchased his first computer, an IBM clone. Jim was always the first. I think he was the first in the neighborhood to get a computer. He was the first in the neighborhood to get a car phone. I remember that computer well. It was state of the art at the time. 2 were newly disks. Each were 10 megabyte in size, and at the time that was considered extraordinary capacity. We struck a deal. In 1988, I was hired to automate his record keeping, build a client database, and computerize and manage his accounting while working in his home office. Then, too, he rented a leased office. More than 30 years later, I was still in his office, running my own business while continuing to help him with his technology needs. Over 3 decades, sharing a 2-person office and many life moments. I was there through many joys and sorrows, marriages, divorces, deaths, children becoming adults, a heart attack, grandchildren, and many, 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 many trials and tribulations of everyday life. And vice versa. He was there through my 30s, 40s, my 50s, and into my 60s. I knew Jim very well. He was sharp and confident. He took pride in being a successful businessman. He was proud of the adults that his 2 daughters had become. He was very firm in his convictions, some might say hard-headed. He didn't suffer fools. I learned a lot from him. He was a good friend to me, and I'll always remember that. It was a significant loss to me when we parted from that shared office 4 years ago. And this too is a significant and deeply felt loss. But his persona and his being is permanently etched in my mind, and I'm sure in many others that are here today. Thank you.
I'm not very good about giving eulogy, but on the way from work, came here, I kind of scribbled a few notes, and I want to give it to dedicate to Jim and to Liên, right? There's no need for me to tell how much you meant to your wife, Liên. No need to. But I can tell you that the space you leave behind, and it is something only those knowing you truly feel. Trina and I are those who feel it, because your impact on us is truly lasting. Especially since the first time she introduced you to all of us, and especially the honor that we have to be the groom and the bride of your wedding with Liên. That's unforgettable. What I remember most about Jim is that he constantly smiled. He smiled almost every occasion. Even on the day of the wedding, under the beating sun, when most of us kind of struggle with the heat, he continued to smile. And that is something that he will carry from that day until the day he passed away. Even then, look at the picture. What you see is him constantly smiling. So you always smile in the face of profound weakness. I remember the last few times we met with him, he still egged out a smile, even though those smiles cannot hide the pain that he's suffering. I'm pretty sure and adamant that from heaven above, He looked down on all of us, and He wants us to continue to smile. Thank you, Jen, for crossing our path. You taught us a lot about smiling as a beacon of strength and grace, and that we'll find peace and beauty in the midst of a storm. Your smile will continue to brighten our life. Rest easy, my dear friend. We all love you. And I wish we have a song to play. I think that's more fitting of a song by Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga, Dying with a Smile. Thank you.
Hi, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Barbara Myers. I met Jim back in the mid-1980s when we started working with doing retirement planning for public school employees. You may have heard TSAs, 403Bs, tax shelter annuities. But there was a group of 30 of us who would get together every other month to share ideas, to bring in new speakers, and we ended up going on a lot of reward trips. And so we kind of traveled the world together. But the name of the company, name of our group was PAFCO, the Professional Association of Financial Consultants, and we would meet at the Proud Bird every other month. And that's why I'm wearing the green shirt. This one goes back to 1994. But what I remember most about Jim is just his smile, his personality, and I'd like to share a poem by Robert Frost called Nothing Gold Can Stay. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her earth's early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. But leaf subsides to leaf, so even sink to grief. So dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay. God saw you were getting tired, and a cure was not to be. So He put His arms around you and whispered, "Come to me." With tearful eyes we watched you and saw you pass away. Although we loved you dearly, we could not make you stay. A golden heart stopped beating, hard-working hands at rest. God broke our heart to prove to us He only takes the best. May He rest in peace, and may His memory be a blessing forever.